Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Black heart, black mind, black end. Again, hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. This message is about Cafe Mocha de Paris's assistance to us. Cafe Mocha de Paris recorded, and I'm still listening, but I'm towards the tail end now, about how it is that single moms will in fact get desperate men and be able to snag them. Let me just go ahead and say that first I'm gonna give a shout out to her because she's saying what I know to be the case, that's exactly how it happens. And I also want to point out how she uses the word desperate, but there's something that she doesn't get into, and I understand, I'm not knocking her for what she doesn't get into, because for her to say this much is really revealing, and you only have so much time that you can spend recording on YouTube, uploading. If you have a real life, especially when you don't monetize your channel and you don't make that your bread and butter, you only have so much time you can spend on YouTube and on, well, you get the idea. I'm one of those people. I don't have much time that I can spend on YouTube. I have to be at work. I got to start teaching in less than 10 minutes. I'm already electronically logged into the class so that when the time comes, I'm there. I have to upload documents within this time. I got a lot I got to do. Plenty I got to do. And as a matter of fact, I mistakenly uploaded the wrong document, and I got to go back and upload the correct one. So what I'm saying is that I'm not going to knock her because I do realize myself from experience, you're going to have a long laundry list of things you got to do in your real life. So you just don't get the luxury of making your YouTube life your whole life, day to day. So I'm going to say to the audience, in a nutshell, what Cafe Mocha de Paris did not point out is that this game does not start when she becomes a single mom. That game actually starts before a woman knows that she will be a single mom. It starts when she is not even planned on being a single mom. It starts when they're young and they look at single moms and they say, ain't no way I'd do that to myself. Ain't no way I would be willing to be that. That's when that game starts. In other words, whether it's conscious or subconscious, we could sit up here and argue for days, but it is planned. They pretty much planned how they're going to treat men as if to plan in case of becoming a single mom. What they want, they're planning subconsciously in advance for what it is that they want. Not what they've decided, but what they want. And what they want is what Obsidian has said, ideally to screw one man simply for genetic reasons, and then to get another man they don't want to take care. Obsidian understands. He's the man that women would want to take care of Alan Roger Curry's child. He gets that. Alan Roger Curry knows this probably subconsciously. He gets that, and he doesn't fib a guck that that's what the game is, and he doesn't fib a guck how unfair that is to normal men. And Obsidian was right in telling ARC that his mode 1 may work for him because of his height, whereas it's not going to work for someone like Obsidian. That's true. I've seen that myself. So this ties into their argument. What she recorded ties into their argument. She pretty much said they're going to settle for men that they don't want while they got feelings for the men they do, the one that actually fathered the babies. She sat up here and said this. She's telling you that it is a dual mating strategy, that's the strategy, that's what they're doing. She confessed to this. What I want you gentlemen to understand is how insulting this is to you as a normal man, because you may not be the cleanup guy, but they in their minds have you pegged as only being worth being the cleanup guy, deserving of no more than a cleanup position, and that's because you are normal, not because you're mediocre, ugly, subpar. Now you may be, but what I'm saying is that you don't have to be that low on attractiveness for them to overlook you until, of course, they have become single moms. Most of you have already been pegged by the time they're 13. You're pegged as a guy to whom they bring baggage, presumably someone else's babies. And they don't care how insulting that is to you. Either they don't think about it consciously, or you point this out to them consciously, and then they just don't care because they can't get rid of that instinct as far as they know. They can't channel it. They can't control it. They can't deny it. They have to obey it. So when they're aware of the instinct, then they just say, and so, and they get angry when you point this out to them. I know because I experienced this when I told a colleague at work years ago, same job wherein 3 lady colleagues told me what was going on with the game was and why I'd been having trouble. Same job. I said to one of them, if you want a man that has experience and you don't want to be his practice dummy, then you need to be his 2nd, 3rd, or 4th wife. And she said, that's not fair. And I told her, I don't see how you think it's not fair. That's actually completely fair. Because what you want is a man to be experienced. Actually, you're not fair if you want him to be experienced, but you don't want to be the practice dummy. You want him to run through a bunch of women and then just stop at you and commit all of a sudden. That's actually kind of unfair. You want him to use every other woman as a practice dummy without you being one of the practice dummies. But you don't want to share him. You want every other woman to train him how to make you happy without you having to communicate. Of course, I got interrupted before I could say the whole of that, but I get it. So Cafe Mocha de Paris is putting you up on game, and there's a lot you can't say, but understand that this is inbuilt. It is not something that starts when they become single moms. Whether they're aware of it or they're not aware of it, they start this from the time that they're 13, maybe even 12. And this is the reason why when you were young, they give you a very clear message. You're going to have to work for it, and you still may not get it. This is so that you will perceive a desperate situation and become one of these desperate men. Then later on, even if it's not her, even though it won't be her, later on, some other lady can come to you and use your desperation to get a good deal she doesn't deserve, in the hopes that when it's her individually at that age, she'll find another desperate man, that other women will have done their part to make sure that some other guys are desperate so that she can come to them with these bad deals, raise these other men's babies. Raise these kids by other men that would have never, ever, ever been your kids. That's what they're saying. That's real. So that being said, understand how insulting it is to you, gentlemen, and ask them when they are young. Say to them when they are young, why is it that you can't do? Matter of fact, this is what you do. This is the new standard for you men to have. Number one, young men in your family, your sons, your younger brothers, your young cousins, I'm talking about when they're little boys. Encourage them to be shy. Stop trying to encourage these little boys in the family to not be shy. No, encourage them to be shy. Stop saying, oh man, that nigga gonna be scared of pussy when he gets older. He should be. You know what the hell is out there. That's why you're listening to this. That's why you're in this space. So stop with that mess. That's some nigga business, some slave breeding plantation nigga business. He gonna be scared of pussy when he gets older. He ain't gonna make massa no money. Now massa is the sister. It's the gynocracy. She's the proxy massa for massa in the house. Remember, Edward Anderson said this. Shout out to him too. The Reverend Brother Pastor Deacon Dr. Edward Anderson pointed this out. Black women view black men through the eyes of white supremacy. Black men view each other through the eyes of black women, meaning the gynocracy. So telling young boys that natural shyness that people have, especially when they're children from birth, is wrong only serves the gynocracy to serve their master, our oppressor, the colonizer. Don't tolerate that mess. Next. The next thing you got to understand is that the new standard from here on has to be that stuff you would do if you were a single mom trying to bag a high-value man is what you're going to do for me when you are not a single mother or in debt. Or even just plain flat-out ugly. You're not going to wait until you're ugly or a single mom or in mountains of debt or something like that. You need to go ahead before you become a single mom or get in debt or go through some disfiguring thing that makes you ugly. You need to start acting like you are a single mom trying to get a high value man, because then it will actually be appreciated. Now, watch, they're going to say that that's insulting, even though the rewards for that are much more than what they're getting now. They're going to sit up and tell you that's insulting, because remember this. What women bring to the table that they weaponize against us is not only your own male heterosexual libido, but also their conceit. So from now on, start using your conceit and sense of self-worth as a weapon against their strategy. But also as a reward if they're not coming to you with these foolish strategies that inflate their value and deflate yours artificially. Thanks for listening. Black heart, black mind, blackout, and black heterosexual non-select male power just because they don't like it.